no longer good for you to be lone. Hearken to my commandments, go and claim you a throne. Then maybe you could be the one that I was raised to live on. See imperfections in the past is what the most I let slide. The hearken to every word to do what's right in his eyes. Sacrifices must be made, the biggest one will be pride. Appreciate all your virtues and your patience inside. Is a beauty truly Yahweh brought forth to let shine. Every second I know with you like a moment in time. Yah gave me something priceless, I ain't paying a dime. And I can't wait to celebrate the day of me and my bride to say, you're my love, my everything. I love my queen. Her virtuous queen for this Hebrew king. You're all that I need. Can't wait for forever to show all my love. A blessing from heaven above. In Yahweh is where we putting all our trust. Hanika horror love, Hanika horror love, this Hanika horror love. 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 Hanika horror love. We good as long as we in the most high truth. Rockin' 3/4 of cloth, never show me your stuff off, boo. I'm a Boaz and I found me a roof. Make sure that we settin' steady what this crown gon' do. See, apologies were made before Yahweh brought two. A full connection, seek profession, testimony will prove. If you do the righteous way, there's not the way you gon' lose. If we seek the hole of the pit and the rock from where hewn. Abraham and Sarah, example of his king and his queen. So to you, I will give the nose, jewels and the rings, the ornament on your ankle so your feet get your team. Besides, y'all the only one that go and get me the scene to say, you're my love, my everything. I love my queen. Her virtuous queen for this Hebrew king. You're all that I need. Can't wait for forever to show all my love. A blessing from heaven above. In Yahweh is where we putting all our trust. Hanika horror love, Hanika horror love, this Hanika horror love. 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 Hanika horror love. Yeah, Hanika horror love. I am black love. I praise the Most High Yah for sending me my queen. For all the trials and tribulations we went through, we found each other. And in the 5th month, Yahweh brought us back together. He commanded the blessing, and I praise the Most High for the blessing that he sent to me. And remember, you know what? Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but the woman that feareth Yahweh, she shall be praised. I praise Yah for sending me my Proverbs 31. I love you, sweet, my precious stone.
Proverbs 31, starting at the 10th verse. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax, and works willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night, and gives meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand she plants a vineyard. She girds her loins with strength, and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good. Her candle goes not out by night. She lays her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretched out her hand to the poor, yea, she stretched forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes fine linen and sells it, and delivers girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looks well to the ways of her household, and eats not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excels them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth Yahweh, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That sounds like an ideal woman, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Welcome to the Marriage and Relationship Podcast, hosted by Elder Moray Muel and also Elder Zerubbabel. Y'all were actually the first to actually do the Marriage and Relationship Podcast. Muel, Elder Yim been holding it down for quite some time. But it's good to have you. Good to have you in. But I'm gonna go ahead and allow Moray Yim to introduce himself.
well, of course, everybody already know me. We've been this, I believe, our 12th episode here, and people call me the Elder Yim or Moray Yim. Just make sure that you call me to eat. But we like to talk about how we can actually help build and create working and lasting relationships that would hopefully lead to a marriage if the individual, in fact, not already married. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. So we're going to get into it today. And with us, we also have Moray Zerubbabel here with us. Go ahead and let them know who you are.
Shalom, my Negro brothers and sisters. I'm honored to be here today to share the word of the true and living Creator with you. And we're going to listen to the Moray here, and we're going to get some valuable jewels from him on how can we improve our relationship with our significant others.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
There you go.
So-
Scoot it up a little bit.
Here's what I want to do. I want to start out with a question because we're going to get into some things here today. And we're going to get real deep. And we usually get good and deep too, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I've been getting, I got to say, thank you for those that have given me a lot of only positive feedback. I've got nothing but positive feedback from these podcasts, and they are really, really liking the information. But I got a question here. And both of you think about this here for a second. Don't peep off my paper there because I want your answers. I got some things already written down. If you were looking for a relationship that would hopefully lead to a woman being a wife, for those that are not married, and if those that are watching right now, if you're watching, if you could jot down some things, what would be the 5 most important things on your list that you would need to have from that woman in order to even consider her to be a helpmeet to you, a wife to you? So let me start with you.
5 things.
5 things, your top 5 things that you would need from her.
First and foremost, she has to fear the Almighty. That's the first thing. She has to have some type of spirituality.
So let me write yours down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got to fear Yah, first and foremost. 2, she has to be intrigued with me, interested in me. That will lead to her being able to fulfill the desires I need from her as my wife, right? And vice versa. And then if I'm considering her, obviously I'm interested in her. So that's the second thing. She has to value family. That would be the third thing. She has to value family.
Okay. Value family.
Yes.
All right. Keep going.
She has to have some type of father figure in her life.
So if she doesn't have a father figure in her life, does that eliminate her from the running?
Yes.
All right. Because that's real important now.
Yes.
We're going to get into this too.
So I'm at the 5th one.
One more.
The 5th one would be she has to understand the order of marriage, the ordinances of marriage from Yah. I probably could have worded that better, but I think
Well, we got you. So you got, first of all, she's got the fear of the Almighty.
personally, her own relationship.
She needs to be intrigued with you. She needs to value family. She definitely needs a father figure in her life, and to understand the concept and the premise of marriage based on the Almighty Yah. All right, Zerubbabel, if you will, give me yours.
Well, that's very good what my young brother said. And one of the things he said is, one of the things we like our daughters to be honest, truthfulness in a relationship.
Right.
The second thing we want to know is, it's not necessarily in that order, but we want a woman that fears the true and living Creator, know who she is. And the third thing I would say, we don't want a daughter that is a false witness. And we don't want a daughter.
Don't want a false witness.
Yeah, you don't want a false witness. That's somebody that every time they speak, you don't know if it's a lie or the truth. And a proud look, somebody so arrogant that you can't tell them nothing. And that they already know everything. And we want a daughter that don't have these type of characteristics. And what was the other one she mentioned?
So you want to be honest. She needs to fear Yah. You don't want her to be a false witness and not have a proud look. You got one more. Top 5.
Okay, and proud look, lying tongue. I said false witness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you have to give me a minute on the next one, because I can't.
Okay, because see, we're going to talk about these things, and let me give you mine. I'm going to give you my top 5. First thing she needs to be is loyal. Now, that's going to be loyal to the Almighty and loyal to the union of marriage itself, because the Almighty, he's going to be that third cord in the marriage. See, I'm only going to be second in command under the Almighty. You see what I'm saying? So she's definitely going to need to be loyal. And a lot of times people don't understand that word loyal. See, we had to look it up before, and we might do that again today, so people get a good perspective and a good understanding on it. She definitely needs to be respectful, because when I think of marriages in the beginning, a lot of those marriages were arranged marriages. You see what I'm saying? So they probably didn't even really know one another. And if they did, probably not that well, but they had to be, they had to learn. And the way they learned about things was from their family. That's why when you said that they had to have a father figure in their life, that was so important, because back then it wasn't no baby mama and baby daddy house and all this type of stuff. They were married, and then they had their child. You see what I'm saying? So first thing, she's got to be loyal. Then she's got to be respectful. So you don't necessarily have to love me. It would be nice if you did. But if I can't have your love, I'd much rather have that respect, right? Because when you respect somebody, you always want to show them your best. You always want to be right with them. Because a person can tell you they love you, but treat you really bad. Talk about you, disrespect you, be loud, argumentative, all kinds of things. But when they respect somebody, again, they're going to always want to show their best. Now, a third thing is, will she follow my lead? You see what I'm saying? She's going to have to follow my lead. We can't have that combatantness, you see. So she has to, that has to be a requirement. Now, after that, she's going to have to be submissive, but she's going to be submissive to the Almighty Yah first, and then let me be second under that. Now, if she's submissive, all those other things that I might desire, that's going to be included in that package of submissiveness.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So if she's going to be cooking, if she's going to be taking care of things around the house, this, that, and the other, she needs to be submissive. And then that last thing, she won't shun the responsibility of being a helpmeet. In other words, find excuses. It should be her pleasure.
There you go.
It should be her delight. It should be her desire to see, how can I please my husband? Because even in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the 16th verse, when he was talking to the woman, and I have to make mention that he was talking to the woman, not the man. So the man don't need to remind a woman that the Almighty told that woman that her desire should be unto her husband and that he should rule over her. So a lot of people tend to think in marriages today, and we know they've been so commercialized, they think that a marriage is a 50-50 partnership. They think a marriage can be between two men, two women, a man and a picnic table, or whatever they desire. But that's not the case. So those are my top 5, and I think you had one more. So right now she had to be honest. She needed to fear Yah. She couldn't be a false witness, and she couldn't have a proud look. So what's your 5th one?
I guess my 5th one is you have to be able to depend on her to fulfill the obligations that you set forth for her to do.
Okay, because you ain't have submissive in there, and a lot of these women say they ain't submitting to nobody. If you got a woman and she's not submissive, and you tell her that wasn't a requirement that you had, and then you married her, hey, it's like,
It seemed like being submissive for a woman is kind of weird nowadays.
Yes.
It's like kind of weird to them.
Well, like you say, submissive is a word they don't want to adhere to because they think that lessens who they are. But the bottom line is it's important because it's a quality that comes forth out of a sister when she has that spirit of submissiveness. In other words, she's going along with the program because she loves you, and her quality in her brings out the submissiveness to you.
see, a lot of times just because a woman say she love you, that don't mean she gonna treat you right. We get, sometimes people say I love you basically just out of habit. You see what I'm saying? You say I love you, say I love you too. But it's not always real love. You see, so the reason I wanted to bring this up because we have some serious issues. Matter of fact, check this out. Is there a way that a man and a woman should be able to work through issues without it resulting in an argument if you're trying to have your woman to be held accountable?
I mean, well, I just kind of go back to what we always talk about, emotional immaturity.
See, now let's talk about, see, here's where we going with it. We also need to know how to regulate our emotions, because a lot of time, like I said, you can be having a discussion with, say, like a woman that you're dating or your wife or whatnot, and we know women live on their what? They live by their emotions, right? Men basically live by logic. So why is it that sometimes when you tell a woman the truth, it leads to an argument? Because they say they want the truth, right? But a lot of times they really don't want the truth. And I'm going to give you some examples. We gave this example, I believe, maybe something similar before. Women like to always be right. Give you an example here. If you got 3 women, they getting ready to go out. One of those women, I guarantee you, is going to be nicer looking than the other 2.
Right.
Remember the scenario? So the one that's really nice looking, she want to make sure that none of the other girls look as nice as she does because they're getting ready to go out. So if you got somebody who don't look quite as attractive as you, then she's going to get all the attention. So if you see a woman that one of the 3 and she's not really dressed as nice, and she says, well, how does this look? And her female friend says, girl, you killing them with that. You look really good with that. Yeah, that's what you wear, or however they put it. And that woman, she believes that lie that her friend just told her. You see what I'm saying? She believes that lie. And so I'm saying this to say now, if that woman is seeing the one who's not looking as attractive, her clothes ain't fitting right, or they just don't look right at all. Now, if her husband or if her boyfriend told her, no, baby, you should change, that don't really look good, then she's going to be upset because you shared with her the truth. You told her the truth because you were looking out for her, because you care about her, you care about her appearance, you care about her self-esteem, and you want her to know, baby, now you should probably go change that. Those are a little bit tight because the woman might be heavy. Say she's not heavy. Say she's thin or whatever. The pants too baggy or something instead too big. But either way, you want to look out for your woman because she represents you.
That's right.
Do you see what I'm saying? But she'll get upset with you because her friend said she looked good. See, and that's what women do. That's what women do. So a lot of times you get into an argument for being honest.
Right. What type of woman would, we would call this a woman that's, if she responds in that way, as emotionally immature. Because some women would listen to their husband, like, baby, what you think about this? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, what you think, how you think I look in this? And a man might be straight up like, that ain't it. She might laugh, giggle, or whatever. Like, to me, that's a woman that is a good woman. You know what I'm saying? So I want to throw that in there too.
But now, here, check this out. These are women, or should I say, the mentality today with women is that of a modern mindset. So a lot of women aren't going to be honest. They're not going to tell the truth. They're not going to be held accountable. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So when a person is actually trying to find a woman to be a mate with, those top 5 that you had, do anybody want to change anything at this point?
I like the yours on loyalty in yours.
Loyalty. She had loyalty. She's got to be loyal.
Yeah, I'm gonna take y'all interested in me. I'm gonna say respect me.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go. Because see, here's the thing. If a woman respects you, it's going to be much easier in that relationship than if she just loves you but don't respect you.
That's 100% true what you just said. I've heard the women that say they love you, but at the same time don't respect you. So I've heard of that and talked with brothers who had that problem.
What would we call disrespect, though? What would be lines of disrespect or examples of how a woman can disrespect a man?
Well, for me, is not listening, not following direction.
Right.
I want to direct my lady. I want her to, if she's dressing a certain way, I want to be able to say, daughter, I need you to change that. Just like that. I don't want to speak 5 times. I want to speak 1 time. If I had to say it 2 times, then she's not listening to me. She got the spirit that, my girlfriend said I like this, and then that's another thing too. I want to make sure I mention. Too many girlfriends is not good.
Why you say that?
Because women have a tendency to criticize, and their validation, if it comes from their girlfriend, they're gonna always lean on her for her opinion,
Rather than her man.
and rather than her man.
Let me throw another question out there while we on that subject of women having girlfriends. Say if a woman like a man, right, but her girlfriend's like, nah, I don't think you should have him, or they disapprove of her decision. In other words, she won't have a mind of her own. She more so concerned about what her friends think. You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all done had.
Yeah, if I had a woman like that, I would leave her alone.
Why you say that?
Because one of the things I wanted for her to follow me, she got to learn me. She got to be about my program, not her girlfriends, her mom, her dad, her sisters, her brothers. No. Your validation should come from me. Now, if I meet your dad and I'm going to honor your father and those type of things, I'm going to make sure that, and that's another thing too, you want to make sure that you, what they call it, vet your lady. Yeah, you want to know. If you don't have no information, you just go by what she looks, her image, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You got to find out what her mama like, who she is. If a mama raising hell and won't sit and listen to her man, and she done watched that all her life, well, it's going to be hard for her to listen to you. So you want to make sure that you have a woman that you vet. You have to vet her. Because a lot of time we go by image, look, instead of okay, well, damn, I didn't know you had a potty mouth. I didn't know you talk like that. Why, you pissed me off. Oh, daughter, wait a minute. That's how you talk?
So,
No, I don't hear that.
so that being said, then we need to talk about some things that are going to be red flags. Because again, when you're looking to find someone that can be a mate, again, you're looking for somebody that you're going to get some longevity up out of. You're looking for somebody that you'll have a good rapport with, somebody that you can build with, somebody that you're going to share your resources with. And see, you don't want to have to do everything, but you want to do everything that you should do as that traditional man, but you need that recipient of that to be able to do the things that she should be able to do for you. It shouldn't be a one-sided relationship. So say you find a woman that you're really interested in, right? And she comes across as being interested in you. And so you let her know you would really like to get to know her, spend some time with her, and I'm not talking about intimate time, just really spending some good quality time trying to feel one another out, see what commonality you have and whatnot. But you discovered that she has several male friends. So you let her know that while she's seeing you, and she said, they're just my friends. Well, we know when there's some guys and they just labeled as friends, we already as men, we know what that's about. So you relate to her that you need some exclusivity. You let her know in order for y'all to even move forward, she has to eliminate those male friends that she has. If she is not willing to eliminate those male friends that she only call friends, then I'm going to say she is not an option for, not even an option. She's not in line for
Why you
any of
say
the
that?
time.
Tell me why you say that, though. That's
Because
good.
first of all, these male friends, you don't know how many of them her exes. You don't know what type of relationship they have. You don't know what they've been doing. And see, as men, we know if a man is in the friend zone, he's only waiting for that particular time if he hasn't already been doing that. Now, a lot of times women will have their own rotation. Women are, and I got to say this while I'm saying this here. A woman with a lot of bodies is not desirable. They are not desirable. They shouldn't be desirable for a relationship. However, with men, especially those that don't really have righteousness on their mind, they're desirable to sleep with, to lie with. And so they'll be a fun girl, but that woman will not be taken seriously if she have a lot of bodies, because a man is going to look at that as just nasty.
What's a lot of bodies?
Well, a lot of bodies
Your
is,
eyes. I mean,
see,
'cause virgins is kind of. It's a rare thing to find a virgin.
well, it's a very, very rare thing to find a virgin these days. However, I have to be honest. Most women are not going to be honest about their body count, but I can guarantee you this day, you can go online anywhere on any of these platforms and you'll find women boasting about 200 and 300 and 400. And I'm talking about wild and crazy numbers like that because they believe that they are equal to a man. See, this feminist movement have really did a number on our women. They just really did a number on them. And they'll say they don't need a man, but some of them say they want a man. Do you see what I'm saying? And they say if a man can do it, and if I'm equal to a man, and they fall for equal rights, right? Then if he got a lot of bodies, they say that they can have a lot of bodies too. And then they'll make excuses and say, well, what man don't want an experienced woman? How do he think I learned how to do this? How do he think I learned how to do that? You see, so I wouldn't personally want that. Matter of fact, here's what women do not understand. I believe I've said this before. Anytime a woman is with another man, she takes on that man's DNA. He is depositing into her. So when you get a good girl gone bad, so to speak, it's because she didn't been with so many different people. Now she's got so many different personalities because she has so many different people's DNA. And we were just recently discussing that when a man gave a woman a bill of divorcement according to the Almighty's law, that he'd give her that piece of paper, she'd leave his house and she can go be another man's wife. Well, if that other man died after he gave her a bill of divorcement, you may not take her back. Why? Because the Almighty said that she's greatly polluted at that time. Now that's just with another man. So imagine if she had several. Say if she had a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 100, all them ridiculous numbers that we see out there on the internet. What man in his right mind would want that? But
Almighty got a name for that.
yeah, and a lot of women they claim get on the internet, and I'm not talking about those women who have enough respect for themselves. I'm just talking about all the other ones. They call themselves 304s. And you know what a 304 is, right?
I heard the term.
Yeah, 304 is a whore. They just turn it upside down. The 4's an H. They call themselves 304s. And they say they would much rather be that than to be with a man and take instruction from a man.
It seemed like the better way for him. It might seem like a woman has more freedom that way. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Elder.
Yeah, they may have more freedom that way, but the brother mentioned what we call a body count. For a woman, body count is extremely high. It's hard for her to love because she's been in love so many times that the next relationship is just another expression of her so-called love. I know 100 years ago there was 80% to 90% virgins. Today it's 5% virgins out here. So chance of you running to a virgin is slim and damn near next to none. So you might find a daughter that done had a couple of relationships in her life. But when you start adding up the numbers and you find out this daughter done, been around enough times to know better, you want to make sure you don't pick her. I don't have a problem in saying, well, this ain't going to work. I don't have a problem in saying, good night, Irene. Salon, my Salonka. Because sometimes you have to move on and you can't stay. And you got to be particular about what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to grab anything.
That being said, gentlemen, I got to say, never chase a woman. Never, ever chase a woman. Know your worth. Know your worth.
Come on, brother.
Prioritize peace and prioritize your mental well-being because you don't have time. See, and time is the one commodity, like I say, we just don't have enough of. We don't want to waste time with somebody who is not interested in being a good person by you. Because again, when we talked a while ago about those abnormalities that we grow up with, those different behaviors that we took on as being normal when in fact they're not normal. When a person want to bring that into a relationship, understand that that is toxic and it's going to be a deterrent from that relationship growing. It cannot prosper. So you have to prioritize your self-respect. You see what I'm saying? Prioritize your principles, prioritize your boundaries. And in the beginning stages, because it's a woman's nature to constantly test the man throughout their relationship. So if you set boundaries, right, and she started crossing those boundaries, you need to be dismissive very early on so that you don't waste your time. You can't give second and third chances. You just can't really do that, especially when you sit down and you have those serious conversations. Like I say, you take her out someplace, y'all sit down, you talk, whether it's to a park or a coffee date or whatnot, because you don't want to send a representative. See, and I have to say that because being a visual, and you have a lot of men who are just not right. I've been that type of person myself. You'd be thinking about she look good or I want her and I want to do this and I want to do that. And who knows, she might even have the same thing on her mind. But if you want something lasting, again, you don't want to send a representative. You want to bring your best self and hoping that other individual's bringing her best self so that y'all can have a discussion. Right? And you can have multiple discussions because you don't want to enter into a relationship, say, okay, we're going to see if we can't make this work. And then shortly thereafter, things start going haywire because you done already made her your girlfriend or something in hopes of being a wife, because we know a woman's nature. A woman will test a man throughout the relationship. It's just part of their nature. When a woman tells you that she feels safe with you, most likely she'll mean that. You see what I'm saying? But she's still gonna test you. But if somebody else come along earlier on before y'all, and sometimes even once the relationship has gotten established, somebody else come along, because women are hypergamous, and she's attracted to him, right? And he has more, might he be better looking? You see what I'm saying? Who knows how that might go? So you have to set your boundaries, and you've got to be clear with it. The bottom line is, if you allow certain things and they continue on because you don't put your foot down, then it's going to be your fault. If I allow certain things that's not productive because, oh, I think she looked good, I just really want her, whatever foolishness, whatever just foolish idea I have based on the way she looks, then I deserve all of that because I didn't put my foot down. And see, here's the thing. Women know men are visual. They're visual. Why do you think they do all those things? Now, don't get me wrong. If a woman feel good about, because she wants to go wear a wig or weave, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm saying you don't have to do that for me. You ain't getting those eyelashes for me. You ain't getting those nails for me. I'd rather have matter of fact, let me ask this question and then we go ahead. What would you rather have, a natural woman or a woman with BBL?
Oh, we already know that. We want nothing fake.
Like,
Yeah.
you rather have a natural woman or a woman with BBL?
I'd rather have a natural woman.
Natural hair or wig?
Natural.
Natural skin or makeup?
Natural.
I mean, makeup cool sometimes, but
Sometimes, okay.
Yeah, it's cool sometimes if a woman she wanna look nice, she wanna get her hair done, you know what I'm saying? Everyone want her hair different. Some women got long hair, some women got no hair. You know what I'm saying?
And that's understood.
Yeah, so if she wanna, look good. I mean, of course.
I'm talking about when you're looking. When you're looking, what qualities are you looking for? Long nails or just regular nails?
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, all those things really make a difference. So, but we want to talk about some things, and then we were talking about like if a woman didn't want to get rid of her male friends, right? There has to be a reason she don't want to get rid of her male friends. Matter of fact, you might have some women that say that's her gay best friend, but the man ain't gay. You know what I'm saying? This man ain't gay, and they know that. That's just a reason for her to be able to keep her friends. And that's the reason I say, if you know your worth, you don't have to chase no woman. And you mentioned something about having daddy issues. A lot of time when a woman don't have a father figure in her life and she's out there, she's looking for love, but she don't know how to love herself because she's never actually seen it. Do you see what I'm saying? She didn't see if her father was sort of like missing in action, so to speak. She didn't see that rapport in a lot of cases with her father and her mother and seeing all those things that she needs to see to help build her up.
Which is crucial because just having that picture instilled of your head of a black man handling his house, treating his family with care, providing for his house, being respected, just an image of that, or whatever type of, whoever's watching, whatever nation you come from, having a man that looks like you, right? Handle his responsibilities. You come from that, right? You have that inside of you. So naturally, you're going to look for that as you get older. That's why I put that on the list. If she don't have a father figure, what can I do? What type of room am I going to have to impose my will in the situation?
You're right. If she don't have a father figure, it's a troubling thing because I know a few daughters that don't have a father figure, and they miss that. They want that. They desire that, but they don't have that. Either they're divorced and they had to make it on their own, or find a different male and then when they get with you, they don't know how to act. That's why one of the things in the book of Proverbs that we were talking about earlier is a lying tongue.
Okay.
One of the worst things you can do is get a woman that lies.
Man.
When she started lying, you got to pay attention to it and listen to her well, because If she a liar, it's gonna come out sooner or later.
Oh man.
It's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. And see some things beside that too. This woman that you might be interested in, you need to discover who her female friends are. Find out what type of
Yes,
females
sir.
that she's
Talk about
actually
it.
hanging
Talk about
around
it.
with.
Talk about
You
it.
know, are her friends, are they worthy? Are they out there? Are they scandalous and things? Because if she has scandalous friends and those are her friends, it's a good possibility that she's going to be just like her friends.
Yeah.
So you also want to make sure that when you're dealing with a woman, she's not the type of woman that's going to try to out talk you. And you say something that she don't like, and she going to raise her voice. She going to start talking over you. You always want to argue where there's issues. That's why I say dismiss those types right away. Now, ladies, I know it looked like we bashing on women, and y'all know I give the men their fair share too. But see, here's the thing. Most of you women, if you're honest, and which one of y'all said something about honesty? I had to be honest. You said you had to be honest, right?
Yes.
Most of you know I'm telling the truth. See, here's the thing. When a man knows female nature, he knows female nature. And like I say, I'm upward in age and I most definitely know female nature. And I know that women, for the most part, are females, even should I say, live in their emotions. Live in their emotions. And a lot of times a woman do not have emotional control. Now, that's regulating your emotions. Now, let me give you a definition of that. That describes how we manage and respond to our emotions. These feelings can vary in depth and intensity, and sometimes they can be overwhelming or unmanageable. Just you can't handle it. You just lose control. Regulating your emotions is acknowledging and accepting yourself while reducing the chance of engaging in unhealthy behaviors. Now, a lot of times we'll see a person, you might see a woman at the Walmart just going off on a man or something out in the parking lot, in the middle of the store, at a restaurant or anything. Anytime you see something like that, that means that individual, and we're speaking of the woman at this time, has completely lost control of her emotions. She's not learning how to regulate it. She's not handling it. And a lot of times women would say that they manage their emotions better than men. No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Now, a lot of times, and I have to say this, and I know single mothers do the very best they can. But now when a single mother is raising children, and those children happen to be boys and girls, and there's no man there, then it's a good possibility that the young fella that mother is raising, bless his soul, he may have emotional issues as well and not know how to manage his own emotions, along with the sister that the mom is raising as well. Because again, we need that balance. We have to have that balance. The Almighty had an order. You see, a mother and a father were married and then they raised a child or had a baby and raised that baby in the same household together, with mom being a nurturer and most likely the father being a disciplinarian. You see.
And I would say also one of the things, I didn't put number 5 down here, but one of the fifth thing I would think in terms of, I don't want to be a stepdad. I don't want to be a stepdad personally. I would rather have my own children if it's possible. Sometimes we have daughters that, for whatever reason, brother step up to the plate, do a good job, raise the other family members, and he gets no respect. He gets no honor. Matter of fact, he's being disrespected, even though he done took on all that responsibility. But a lot of times our daughters don't know how to translate that into love and respect.
Well, let me speak on that. I did something that I said that I would never do after I did it the first time and it didn't work out. I married a woman who had several children. And asked me if I regret it, I'd have to say yes. I did regret it, but I knew that I was going to get a blessing from the Most High because I took that responsibility on willfully. And it bit me in the behind several times. Several times. Do I have regrets? If I was going to be honest, I would have to say yeah. But even to this very day, I still pray for those very children who were very, very disrespectful. I could go on and on about that situation, but I really don't even feel a need to do that. But most men want to raise their own. And in a lot of cases, not all, if a man gets into a relationship with a woman who has a child or children and say she don't want any more children, right? And that man don't have any children, then I would advise this man, if he wants to have his own legacy, not to get involved with that woman if she's not going to be able to give him any children, because that wouldn't be fair to him. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree with that. I don't necessarily, just me personally, if a woman fear Yah and she got a child, you know what I'm saying? My limit is really one, for real. You know, if she has all of those other qualities I'm looking for, and she, like I said, she feared the Almighty, she about her business, she's a great support, she would make a great wife, and she has a child, I don't mind that. But when you get to talking, you don't want no more kids. I know me personally, I want a lot of kids, so that wouldn't work for me. Maybe for some other men that don't want kids, maybe that might work. But if a man want kids and a woman like, nah, I ain't having, no. And you got kids? No, I'm good. Pass.
A question I like to ask is, what is the benefits of being a stepdad? What are those benefits that a brother would get?
Well, to be honest with you, there are no benefits. There are no benefits because you're taking on some other man's responsibility. And, you know, you can get the benefit of maybe showing him how a real man would handle his affairs. Do you see what I'm saying? But other than that, you don't get any benefits, not necessarily, because unless you get that child when it's an infant, and that as an infant, you're all that child ever knew, then that child is going to grow up most likely to honor and respect you. You see what I'm saying? But you get a child that's, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 years old and upward, you're going to catch hell. You're going to catch hell because they're going to all have that you not my daddy mentality. And that's just because you got to remember when we spoke last week about those abnormalities that people grow up with because they're from a specific geographical location, whether it be Avondale, Lincoln Heights, West End, or whatever. So they take on that so-called mentality of that community, or the people inside that community, should I say. Those are abnormal behaviors. So when you want to put those abnormal behaviors in a relationship, if one person is not on that nonsense, then it's going to be a clashing of the heads. If just one person is not on it. But now if you got two people and they both on it, now they're going to take on that foolery because now there's really going to be some clashing of the heads because both of them, oh, you know where I'm from? Yeah, I'm from here too. So either way, it's not good. So we got to get rid of that nonsense talking about, and most people who talk about they from this hood or that hood probably don't own no property in there, don't own the house they living in, don't own the block. This person on my block. This person was at my house. No. We look at things the wrong way. But if we want to have good, successful relationships, we got to be, we have to take our time. We've got to vet some more. And guess what? You still might make a mistake in your choice. Still might make a mistake in your choice. But that's why I'm saying do not, and I can't say this enough, do not be intimate. Now, these days, girl might call you gay or something if you're not trying to jump in the bed with them or something. They might call you gay if you're trying to restrain yourself from that because you're trying to be right. You see, and when we learn better, we should do better. What if you made the mistake of laying with a woman, you find out she's just ratchet and not right, but you done made her pregnant?
Oh, man.
Your life gonna be ruined. And especially if you got a decent job, she ain't gonna wait to take you in the daggone child support court. She gonna try to take you for everything you got.
So I wanted to comment on the stepdad thing. Now we said it ain't no benefits for a man being a stepdad, but what are the women that got children that's still looking to be married to do?
A lot of times, not in all cases, but in most cases, we know that there's 70 to 80% of women who initiate divorces. And the court system will grant them custody of a child. Now we know that's backwards, right? And those are just the ones that are married.
Right.
But then we also know that there are women who are not married who will have a child or children, and they'll take a man to court for child support, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing. Either way you go, and I have to say this, and I'm an advocate for marriage. Y'all know that. I'm an advocate for marriage. But I can see why today a lot of men are walking away from marriage, period, because they have everything to lose and not a whole lot to gain. In other words, I'm going to trust that you're going to treat me right. I'm going to trust that you're going to have traditional values. And again, remember, most women don't have those traditional values coming from by way of the Most High Yah, right?
Okay.
Most women are going to have modern values in modern times say, what? Take him to court. Take him to court. Don't let him see his child. If he can't give you this money, punish this man. And we know women have a way of so-called punishing a man. You got the silent treatment. You got a lot of different things. And especially if you got one ratchet come by and break your windows out your car and your house, or call the police on you, make false statements. So it's just so much going on in our communities. Now, keep in mind, marriage is not for everybody. So what is a man to do? You know, I had this question posed to me. What is a man to do if he want to be intimate? Well, you know, I'm not going to suggest the 5 fingers of death. I'm not going to suggest none of those things, but you just have to, you have to abstain. You got to abstain. And a lot of times men don't want to do that. And a lot of times women don't want to do it either. You see, and what happens? Sometimes the baby get made. And then once that baby is made, somebody's life is over. Now, 9 times out of 10, y'all know whose life is going to be over? Hers. No, it's going to be hers too, because because it's going to cost him even more so. It's going, because if he wants to be a father, that don't mean he always going to get to see his child. And then if he don't have money to pay child support, now he taking a chance on getting locked up. And if he locked up, now how he going to work to make money to pay the child support? How is he going to make money to live?
And you multiply that by 10 and 20 within the black community, you can see why we's catching so much trouble. A lot of our daughters, they have a relationship, the brother ain't worth a dime. They ain't worth 2 cents. But they get with him, have a baby by him. And I would tell my daughters, There's so many things out here that you don't have to have a baby. It don't even make sense for you to have one until you're ready to have one. Daughters do not, or brothers, do not have sex with a woman that you're not intending on marrying. Well, why are you doing that? Because all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. You get you a lady that you like, you love, and you want to make a commitment, and she has a commitment. You, as your brother was saying, vet her to where you know her mom, dad, sisters, and brothers, and you make your choice based on wisdom, understanding. But above all things, on the spirituality of the Most High. If you don't have these things in your relationship, you're in trouble, because now you're left to the commercial way of life.
I got to say this, and then I want you to speak on something here. I have a young daughter. I know you got a little girl, you got a daughter. Here's the deal. How would I like it if a man did my daughter wrong like that? Came in with bad intentions, but he liked the physical aspects of my daughter. And he lay with my daughter, but he ain't really trying to be with my daughter. And my daughter gets pregnant. Now, see, this is what a lot of men do to somebody else's daughter. So we have to put ourselves in that position, how we feel as men, because I got to be perfectly honest. I'm going to be ready to take somebody's head.
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, but I'm be ready to take somebody's head.
Yes, you should.
Because that's my baby. You see what I'm saying? So now you can see why I have that mentality the way I do. Because when you get older, we tend to get wiser. Hopefully that's supposed to be the case anyway.
Right.
And you don't want that done to yours. And we know what the definition of a hypocrite is. Doing something that you wouldn't want done to you or yours. But we will be quick to go out and do those things. Men will be quick to go out and do that to somebody else's baby, but we don't want that done to ours. So we, like I say, there's a time to get on women, there's a time to get on men. And right is right and wrong is wrong regardless of who it come from. We got a lot of guys out here that are not men. And I used to hate that expression when I would hear a woman say, well, he ain't no real man. I used to hate to hear women say that. I really did. And I'm not talking about saying it to me, but when you would hear them say things like that, that's not a real man. Well, as I done got older and I done got wiser, see, men do those things that pertain to them being men. Men should be doing things that pertain to them being boys. In other words, haven't learned yet, acting like they're unlearned, being foolish. And like it's been said, so many ways to be a fool, you can't miss them all. But to be a hypocrite?
Well, we got a lot of brothers as hypocrites. We got a lot of brothers that say and don't do. And we got a lot of daughters that does the same thing. But on the other hand, it's, like I said, it's a minefield out there. And you don't know all the time. So you rely on brothers. You know, I ask questions, brother, what do you think about this daughter? What do you think about this situation? And there's safety in a multitude of counsel. And when you're able to get counseling, talk to brothers, that's something that I like my Hebrew brothers, because you can go to them and say, well, what do you think about this sister? What do you think about this situation? And if they being honest, they're going to give you the straight shoot about it. And then you make your decision based on the information you gather about that sister or brother. But a lot of times, all they got to do is show up, say, I like you. In 6 months, they married. And then the next 10 years, they got hell and trials and tribulations. So it takes a minute. It shouldn't take that long if you find somebody that fits your criteria. But if you don't find someone that fits your criteria, it's hell to pay.
So that being said, Kim, I need to ask some questions because you're familiar. Well, I know older and younger generations, but by you being a younger man, what would be some deal breakers, and what also would be some boundaries that you have that if those boundaries are crossed, it's that relationship is done, is void, it's over right off the top? Do you have certain boundaries that may not be crossed, and what are some other deal breakers?
One is off top is she had to be feminine.
Oh, you said, that was a big one. Say that again.
She has to be
And
feminine.
explain what you mean with that because, and I have to say this, not because I want you to finish. I got to say this. I was just talking last night to an individual, and I let him know that I said, now, because we work in the school environment, I said, how many feminine, we were just having a long conversation. I said, how many females do you see in this building that are not masculine? That don't display masculine behavior. Now we're in a huge school, say about 1,300 people in
I
that
know
building.
exactly what you're talking
And
about.
you know what he said?
Oh, I know.
Probably about a handful or two. A handful or two that are feminine. I just spoke with somebody, I'm not going to get into detail, saying how this older woman last week said something to me that was very aggressive and very masculine, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it at all. And I was going, and later on, I'm gonna say something to her. You see, I don't like that. But speak on that what you was talking, because that's serious, man, because a lot of these females today, they don't consider themselves to be masculine. They think that's the way they're supposed to act.
And I understand where it come from, because we black men make looking masculine so cool. We just make it look so good that, oftentimes they want to follow in that pathway, and they got to understand, like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a woman. And I say we always need more mothers in the world to teach daughters how to be feminine. You know what I mean? Because the example that men are setting, they have to understand. You have to look and understand that we are men. We do men things. That's a completely different arena. You will never understand that unless you are a man. But when I say being feminine, I'm gonna just go ahead and pull a definition out. Feminine is a set of attributes, behaviors, and roles generally associated with women and girls. Some of those traits include gracefulness, right? A state of being graceful. She's graceful. She's delicate, right? She's soft. Gentleness. She knows how to speak in the proper tone. She knows how to address a situation and get across her point and inspire a man. See, what inspires a man is femininity from a woman, just like masculinity inspires a woman. Seeing masculine women, a woman, that doesn't do nothing but turn me on. And I'm gonna go ahead and get real with y'all. Arguments, that's very masculine to me.
Absolutely.
That's a deal breaker. If I'm out all day and I'm working and I come home and you raising hell and over nothing, we gonna have to have a conversation, because at that point I'm turned off. That's enough to turn everything off. Arguments. You're combative, right? Every time I talk to you, you go the other way. I say one thing, you do the complete opposite. Turn off. Deal breaker. Another thing, going through my phone. That's masculine to me. Going through my phone, and I didn't give you permission to go through my phone. That's another deal breaker, because when a woman go through a man's phone, that's just them trying to gain leverage on a man. So at that point, you my enemy. You trying to be my enemy. That's another deal breaker. So I'm gonna continue with this. Feminine, graceful, gentleness, empathy. That's a big one. Empathy.
Say that again.
Empathy. The state of putting yourself in another person's shoes so you can feel their experience.
You don't see that a lot, do you?
Don't see it. Humility, honesty, and sensitivity. All of these traits are what you would consider feminine traits. So the deal breaker for me, I can deal with any woman, to be honest, as long as she's feminine. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
I think that limits you though,
Yeah,
because if we're looking for a woman, and we as men want to have a feminine woman,
Period.
and that it's not a whole lot of feminine women left in this Western Hemisphere. It's just not a lot of them left. Because I don't run into, listen, in the course of a day, and this is just being honest, like I say, and I'm talking about with the students, with the female staff. I do not see a lot of femininity in the course of one of my work days. And I work in a building with at least 1,300 people in it.
Elder, when I tell you I was just talking to a student like Friday, I was like, man, when we gonna stop? When we gonna be feminine? I was talking to a girl, her name, I ain't gonna throw her name out there, but she's a young lady. She like in 5th grade, you know what I'm saying? But she's the most masculine person on the bus. You know what I'm saying? And I go and look at the men. I'm like, the men, I mean, she be beating the boys up. I be like, man, when we gonna be feminine today? I just literally said that, so I know what you're talking about.
That is so crucial. Do you know how many girls be fighting boys? Just this past week, there were so many girls that were beating up boys in the school. And I'm not talking, and this is a high school. This is a high school. This is a high school. And I keep talking to these boys, talking about, how are you letting these females emasculate you? Leave them alone. Yeah. Leave them alone. They're emasculating you. And they don't, the boys, I have to explain to them what emasculation is. Right. And it's, oh my gosh. We're living in a time that, well, to be honest, things are only going to get worse. We do know that, right?
Oh, yes.
Zerubbabel, Bell, give us some of your.
Said, stay unmarried, stay alone.
Well, let me tell you, a lot of guys are checking out. Matter of fact, I read a stat recently that said men from 18 to 29 years old have decided they don't want any relationship whatsoever ever. They don't want to deal with these women because they say there's just too much baggage. It's pretty much what they saying. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. They say they would rather be to themselves, work on themselves, and get themselves together, period. And those are the demographics here. Like I say, in this Western hemisphere, you got a lot of people who are leaving to go overseas trying to find a mate, and more power to them. I wish them well, because I know that it is actually slim pickings right now.
He said he's 29 too.
He said he's 29. Yeah, from 18 to 29. That's a recent stat. I think I spoke on that just last week? Yeah. 60%. 60% of men between the ages of 18 and 29 say, that juice ain't worth the squeeze.
That's a very good point. And one of the things that my brother was reading in the book, I was thinking in terms of a book of Proverbs 31:31, and some of the things he was talking about, women being masculine. The fastest growing prison population is women. The fastest prison population, not counseling, prison, because they've become so masculine that they just don't know how to listen. They won't listen. They refuse to. And then with the daughter, and we was talking about friends earlier, well, friends, man, they get with their friends, and next thing you know, their friends done turned them 90 degrees the other way. So brothers are having a real difficult time trying to find what we call a virtuous woman. I used to think that if you went into the house of Israel, right, that our daughters was just on another level. Then
we all go back.
I could imagine.
That's not the case.
And what I'm finding out now is that it's just the opposite. When you go in there, you find out they may not be where you think they are. What do you think?
All right, I'm gonna say this because I mean we all done, we
on the same page. We on the same page.
We all done deal with women in the house of Israel. And let me just say this for the record, man. We not women bashing, I promise you.
Not at all.
We just being honest. That's it. And I love my women that's out there that's feminine. I love y'all. Y'all the best, man. Seriously, y'all make the world go round. It's a man's world, but feminine women make the world go round. You hear me? Now, when it comes to the women in the house of Israel, I don't know if it's our fault or their fault. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if we setting a bad standard or lack of unity. I don't know what it is.
Let me speak on
Yeah.
Because we just spoke on this last week. And again, this goes back to all those abnormalities that the males and the females came up with. From the time we were little bitty youth up until where we are right now, we looked at things as the way they are, but we never looked at them as like, this is just abnormal. Again, when we see something on a regular basis, we say, that's just normal around here. But we can never normalize something that's abnormal. And it's those abnormalities that just have us all screwed up, because when you take that into a relationship where you're trying to build something, but you don't have your stuff together because you have an abnormal mindset. She has an abnormal mindset. He has an abnormal mindset. And those heads are going to clash. Because, see, when people fall out, they're going to fall out anyway. And now they don't have the tools to bring it back together. Because, see, we weren't taught how to rebuild and replenish relationship. Right. We've never been taught the value. We've been just taught to move on to the next.
Oh, man.
To move on to the next. That's just like, check this out. A lot of women may know what monkey branching is. A lot of guys might not know. So let me explain what monkey branching is.
I never heard the term.
That's when a woman say like if I'm in a relationship with a woman, and this woman, and she's tired of me. She not already left me, but I don't know she left because she left me emotionally first. You see what I'm saying? Yes. She's physically there. But say she left me emotionally first. Yes, sir. That means if there's another guy who can come along who might be in a better situation. He might look nicer, might make more money, drive a nicer car, this, that, and the other. She's already in a bad space because our relationship isn't right? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's easy for her to grab onto his hand because, see, here's the thing. When a man steps out on a woman, it's a physical thing. When a woman steps out on a man, it's emotional first because he's giving her something that she feel like she wasn't getting from the other one. You see what I'm saying? So she can spend a lot of time with this individual and they haven't been intimate yet, but eventually it's going to be intimate. So she now already gravitated to him. So as soon as she get her last straw with me or whatever, boom, she's already knowing who's next. He's next.
That's right.
And then it's just like a monkey, when they call a monkey wrench, swing from tree to tree, go from relationship to relationship.
Right.
And that's an actual a term. That's an actual term. And that's what men and women tend to do. It's called monkey branching.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say this, to add to that list of the qualities of a woman that's worthy of marriage or a wife before marriage is she has to be working on herself. A woman that refuses to work on herself is gonna be monkey branching. That type of woman doesn't deserve to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? A woman that has a standard for Proverbs 31.
Yes.
That should be your standard.
That should be a stand.
Yeah,
blueprint.
a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And when we look at the scriptures, it's blueprints on a man's work is just so vast. It takes us a lifetime really to become the men we really desire to be. You know what I'm saying? That's how vast and how much responsibility a man has. But for women, simply being the best support, the best helpmeet, which is what a Proverbs 31 woman is, that should be your standard. And if you're not there, I should see the improvements and the changes. That's one of the things that turn me on as a man when I see a woman improving herself. When I look at a woman and she the same woman I've seen from 2 and 3 and 4 years ago, but when I see a woman that has drive and motivation and inspiration to become a better woman, oh man.
That's a very good point, to become better. And a lot of times, to be better, that means physically she had to change her mindset. Right. She has to be physically attractive because men are visual. And emotionally, she has to have her mindset together. But I want to ask the question is, where does education fit into that with you brothers? How do you see education? Is it important that your lady have some type of education, some type of skill? How do y'all see that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, here's the thing. Education is a priority. Now, what do I mean by education? A woman has to be able to know certain things. She ain't got to be no rocket scientist and nothing like that. But she has to have a certain wisdom in order to be in a mind state to do the things that she needs to do. But believe it or not, man, a lot of women are smart.
Yeah, they are.
But they have to use their intelligence in the right way.
Yeah, right.
Women tend to mature faster than guys. But see, the thing is, they learn the wrong behaviors.
What you say?
They learn the wrong
What
behaviors.
you say?
Women are smart because they know what they're doing. See, who's the king of manipulation in a relationship?
Women.
It's women. Women learn early. They learn as a little child.
Second grade.
That's just like if they getting ready to get a whooping. Little girls know to make their face, and especially to the father or whatnot, because the father says, "My baby," you know what I'm saying? They know how to make themselves cry on just like that. Every woman. If there's some women listening, please chime in and let the people know that I ain't lying. You can sign in as anonymous. See, they know how to turn on the waterworks because they know men don't like to see women cry. So if you're going to be good at manipulation, you smart. You outsmarting the guys. Because a lot of guys, they have to be older and more wiser to be onto it. Because see, we don't like to see our women cry.
It's true.
We don't like to see our women cry. We don't like to see our little daughters cry. Now our son go to cry. Man, shut up. Get yourself together. You see what I'm saying? So women are ideally, they're smart. And see, here's the thing. A lot of times they're so smart.
The queen said, you're telling the truth.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Thank you. Because see, here's the thing. A lot of women will get upset with a man when he tells her the truth. Women say they don't want to be lied to, but they don't always want the truth. Do you see what I'm saying? Because when you tell them the truth, now you're putting them at a place to where they have to be held accountable. And if a woman is not willing to change, and I gotta say this, I said it before, I think a lot of women, likewise a lot of men, want to do better, but they don't know how to go about doing it. Because they've been stuck in a certain mold for so long, they don't know what to do. So you should always find someone who you believe to be wise in certain areas, who's going to give you good. For example, I don't know everything. And ignorant mean I don't know something.
Right.
I've said I'm ignorant about auto mechanics, ignorant about brain surgery. So if I need to know something about an automobile or repair something, I need to speak with somebody who knows those things. So when we want to do better, talk to some people that you know that's pretty much having a good relationship. But understand this, there's not going to be any perfect relationship. You'll see people, like I said, been married 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years or more. They have their little times, but they learn how to work things out. Remember how I said when you get into a relationship and you're serious, throw away them track shoes.
There you go.
Because people be quick to run. People so watered down today, they quick to run from their relationship.
They don't want that
You know, and then
accountability.
exactly. And I gotta say this. You got some men, some rotten men that don't want to be held accountable, but women, females are the queens of not accepting accountability. Now, I'm just telling it like it is, because the bottom line is, if a person don't want, Queen, answer this question right here. With any female friends that you may know or whatever, or just in most cases, when there's a man and a female, a male and a female in a relationship and the relationship ends, 9 times out of 10, that female, it might be 10 times out of 10, that female says 100% of the time, it was that man's fault. It was that man's fault. If she cheats on the man, it was the man's fault because he didn't pay her too much enough attention. And whatever the situation is, 9 times out of 10, it's always the man's fault. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. See, if men have to be held to a standard, and we should accept that as men.
That's right.
Matter of fact, men like to hold people, and I was talking about my friend. I don't hang with nobody that I can't hold accountable.
There you go.
And I don't, and likewise, I know that they want me to hold them accountable as well.
Exactly.
Men correct one another.
Ah,
Women, they cover for one
that's the
another.
biggest difference.
What did you say?
Women will cover for one another. They will say, if this woman's out cheating or doing whatever, she gonna make sure her girlfriend know. Well, you can ask Cindy, she'll tell you. You can ask her, so they'll tell you. Yeah, she gonna lie for you.
Man, in my previous relationships, I kid you not, my blood brother would always hold me accountable when it came to, you know what I mean, how I dealt with my woman or whatever. Like, my blood brother won't even take my side.
I won't take it. Listen, that's the way it's supposed to be. Deep. If I've been with my wife, and like I said, it'd be 18 years in June, right? Be 18 years in June. If I just met somebody 20 minutes ago, and I've been with my wife all this time, if there's a situation between my wife and this person, and my wife is wrong, I'm not taking my wife's side because she's my wife. I would never, and my wife knows it. I'm not built like that. No.
And that's respect. That's respect.
I got to be right.
My son had a situation develop, and he'd been with his lady 6 years, and she got pregnant in that last year, and she left, took the baby with her, and he said everybody got together to go celebrate the 1 year anniversary of him having the baby, and yet he was at home because her girlfriend, he didn't get along with her girlfriend. And they said, well, why ain't you going to the gathering? I said, no. So why you ain't going? I said, I'm supporting my son. No, because my son is the head of that household. He runs that household. If she grabbed that baby and left with the baby, then she got 9 people to support her and help her. Whereas my son out there by himself. And sure enough, he was by himself. Nobody went out to see him. Nobody called him hardly. Even his brothers didn't check on him. And I told him, no, son, I'll be out there. Because what happens is, everybody want to take the woman's side.
Yeah.
But the brothers, he gonna catch straight up hell.
Yeah.
It's his fault whether he did it or not.
Yeah.
It's his fault. But I said, no, when a man runs the household, no, you handle that. You handle that. You don't, that to me, when they told me that, well, why ain't you? No, I ain't going. I'm going to support my son. Why? Because I already know he's going to be the last one to get any support. The last one. And I was absolutely correct. He said, Dad, you know what? I said, what? He said, you know, out of all my brothers and sisters, they all went over there. You know, you the only one called me. You the only one came out to check on me. I said, I'm not surprised. Because that's how they do, brother. That's exactly how they do. So I'm telling brothers, we have not just take the responsibility for our mistakes, but we also got to support one another.
You know what? What you said is so true, and I know you wanted to comment. I'm gonna let you
Go ahead.
I was just gonna add one element to what you said, and that's part of being feminine. It's called empathy. Nobody has empathy for the black man. Only other black men has empathy for us. Not even our own women have empathy a lot of times.
I agree with
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Some women do. There are women out there that
Not most.
Right, not most.
Not most.
Yeah.
Not most black women.
Yeah, but there are some out there, and shout out to y'all. But go ahead, Donna.
You know, it's so crucial, man, because, and I got to speak on that, man, because I speak to a lot of guys. And it sounds crazy when I say this, but all of the guys that I talk to are having the same identical issues. The same issues. And the woman is always going to be somebody take her side because her side, see, here's the thing. They'll leave out what they did. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And they'll villainize a black man. And I have to say this. Now tell me if Queen, if you know this right here. I'm just going to tell the truth.
She was right on the last one.
I'm just going to tell the truth right here. Mm-hmm. And this is not all, but just most black women. They poop on the black man more than any other nationality of people. They really crap on black men. But see, understand this. Why is it that every black woman, she's a strong, independent black woman? I've said this time and time again. Be soft. Let me be strong for you. Independent means you don't need nobody. So why would a woman advertise that she's a strong, independent black woman? Do you see French? I'm a strong, independent French woman. I'm a strong, independent Jamaican woman. No, we don't see all of this. We don't see all this. And see, when a woman calls herself strong and say she don't need a man, and then they want to know where all the good men at, they done heard her open up her mouth and she's not on their radar no more. No more.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times
people be listening. We be listening.
A lot of women, they cut themselves out, but don't realize that's what they're doing. Men are not attracted to masculine women. At all. Men are not attracted to masculine women. That's the worst possible scenario. You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm arguing with another man and they get to that point, and y'all know that I don't even like to try to get to that point where I'm arguing with nobody, right? But if I'm arguing with another man, that can actually turn to fisticuffs. Oh, yeah. Don't no real man want to be fighting this woman. Right. But a woman will be so aggressive, more so aggressive than some of these guys. Yeah. And so a man is not attracted to that. That's right. Are you attracted to that?
Man, it is the biggest turn. That's why I check it immediately. Yeah.
You attracted to
Any
that?
type of masculinity.
My son told me, he said, I was arguing with my lady, and he said, all I could think about is what my Abba would do. And I know my Abba would never accept that. And he's right. I wouldn't accept all that hollering and screaming, trying to cuss me out. Oh, no. No, I don't do that.
See, I have to say this. The more a man accepts it, the more it's going to come to him. The more a man accepts those type of behaviors, the more he is going to get it, because she's going to view him as being weak. She's going to view him as being subordinate. Now, a lot of women, they say, no, that's not the case. But yes, that's the case. See, like I tell men, never put a woman on a pedestal, because then she's looking down on you. You see what I'm saying? You done lifted her up so high, it's like you're a fan at that point.
Yeah.
So why is she going to treat you like you above her when you done already put her above you? It's like you're her fan. So she'll start to disrespect you and treat you certain ways. And so I've been telling guys this for decades. But sometimes we'll fall into our own little thing and we'll be blind to it ourselves, you see.
Oh, yeah.
Because see, men love hard.
Yeah.
And you want your woman to know how much you adore her and how much you appreciate her and all those type of things. But you know, men who don't do that get more attention. Y'all know that?
You said what's that?
Men who dote over their woman, men who don't do that, they get more attention. Because see, when you show a woman too much validation, then she's,
She'll feel. She said the queen said she'll feel superior.
exactly. See, I'm not sure who this. I'm not sure who you are, but thank you for being so honest.
She's gonna be coming on the podcast.
Oh, that's even better, because we need to have a good female on here who's going to keep it real with some of these women out here, man, because a lot of women know that they're wrong, but again, they will lack accountability. A woman would love to argue for the sake of just winning an argument. You could be arguing about this, but she'll start throwing insults in and all kinds of things, because she'll wear you down.
They call
just to win an
that
argument.
deflection.
Exactly.
They gonna deflect it, and you arguing about one thing, and she done deflected it to something else.
Instead of getting some resolve, because you don't need to argue. If there's a situation, speak on it. You gotta have some emotional maturity about yourself. Have a conversation and come up with some resolve so that you can move on. See, again, I can't say this enough. Time is the one commodity that we just don't have enough of. So why waste all of our time in an uncomfortable situation arguing with somebody that you say you care for?
Exactly.
That don't make sense to me.
Morey Yashashkar gave me some good advice when I was going through what I was going through, and he just told me, he brought out the proverb. He said it's better to dwell in the wilderness than with a a woman you got to argue with all the time. And he said just get out. And a lot of times, back in the day, scripture wise, when a woman is misbehaving, you supposed to send her out of your house.
Yeah.
But when you send her out, guess what she gonna do? She taking the kids with her. She taking the kids with her. So a lot of times, men you gotta go live in the wilderness and leave everything behind.
See,
I got custody of all my children.
That's a blessing.
See, people say, how did you do that?
Yeah.
How did you get custody of all your kids? And I said, I wish I knew. I wrote a book on it, because my first wife gave me custody of my kids. My second lady gave me custody of my kids. My third lady gave me custody of my children. Legal custody. Now, my first one I had legal custody of. The second one I had legal custody of, and the third one. So when they left me, I had one of my wives sent me $1,000 and something a month. I didn't ask her. I didn't. And when they took me to court, I said, Mr. Israel, we're gonna have to charge child support. I said, oh no. I said, no, sir. I don't want anything. I'm just happy to have my children. She said, well, Mr. Israel, I'm sorry, it don't work like that. I said, excuse me? They said, no. She has to pay child support just like you would have to pay child support. So they came up with a number. I said, oh, no, I don't want her to pay no money like that. I don't need money like that. I said, well, can you just lower it the best you can? She said, well, I'm going to lower it as far as I can, but the fact is she has to pay.
And see, that's actually a corrupt statute. That's why we supposed to reverence the Almighty's laws above man's laws, because that's completely corrupt, and they know it is because they getting paid from it.
They getting paid.
that's what I was going to say. They make money off of that. But see, let me tell you what the Almighty say about who gets custody. Go to Deuteronomy 24.
Come on.
Go to Deuteronomy 24.
What did the Almighty say? Who gets custody?
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what
we gonna get to the meat of it right now.
Right now.
And see, I'm a traditional man throughout.
Okay.
Period.
All right.
Period. And I ain't putting nobody before the Most High Yah. Period. Read Deuteronomy 24 for me, if you will.
Deuteronomy
Up
24.
there about when a man has taken a wife. Read that part for me.
When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her too, and write her a bill of divorcement and gives it to her hand and sends her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is an abomination before Yah, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin.
Now, let's take this. Now, the Almighty said, give her a bill of divorcement and send her and those children out the house, right? Is that what he said? He said, send her out the house.
That's right.
Those babies stay with the father, period. But see, I'm not going, and Israel need to learn how to put the Most High first. Israel is quick to run to this man, but we already know the Most High said we was the most hard-headed, stiff-necked, rebellious people on the planet. And so when a black woman gets mad at a black man, they quick to try to take him to court and try to clean him out, but they don't realize they cutting their own throat because the Almighty looking. The Almighty looking. And so how is a person going to be prosperous when they fighting against the Almighty? Remember, I taught a lesson about tempting the Almighty. There's so many ways that we as Hebrew Israelites end up tempting the Almighty. We don't realize we cutting our own throat. There's a way that, there's an expression say, give a man enough rope and he gonna hang himself. And you made a good observation not too long ago when we were talking about that, because if a woman want to go out and be another man's wife, and like you just said, you don't want to be a stepfather. You see what I'm saying? A woman got a better chance on becoming another man's wife when she's not coming with what that man might call baggage, which would be her children.
Yeah.
You see?
And in some cases, like I know I got certain people I know where the fathers was mentally ill, where the woman actually had to take the child in, and something like that I understand. But even in our land, like, you know, we had a community, so if ever the father failed, it would always go to the next of kin, which is like the brother or that's why I say some type of, and that's what women have to understand, like, and I think women understand this. It's just the trust factor. When you break a woman's trust, they carry that around with them. That trauma, they carry that trauma around with them. You know what I'm saying? But
Do you believe
the
that
women-
a woman should pay child support or not?
I don't believe in this system. See, here's the thing. That's how why marriages have become so commercialized now, and they're not traditional marriages. You see what I'm saying? Like I was talking about earlier, the Almighty determined what a marriage is, right? And He said a marriage is between a man and a woman, right? But the system is corrupted, so now the system say 2 men can be married, 2 women can be married. You can marry whatever you want to marry, because see, this man, they're gonna get theirs.
So you wouldn't charge a woman any child support. Would you expect her to give you child? I mean, would you expect her to give child support to you?
Man, take care of them
They say
kids.
she making 50,000, 100,000, and you making 5.
Y'all have to figure it out between y'all, but as a man, you supposed to, first of all, before you take on any woman, you supposed to be able to take care of the woman off your income alone. You know what I'm saying? Or you have a situation where it's set up to where you don't have to really rely on her for that type of thing, because it's the man's responsibility to work to the sweat of his brow, period. Like, so when it comes to children, taking care of children and having a woman pay you for children in this land, that's something that will be a great help. It would be a great support. However, it's always a man's responsibility to handle his business, regardless if your woman is helping you with the child or not. That's your responsibility to take care of
Okay,
it.
it's still your responsibility.
Yeah.
But if she's making the money You saying no, you wouldn't accept the money.
I'm saying
No, I
no.
would. I would.
I would
you
accept
accept
your
it?
daughter. Now, if we doing something outside of order where she would have
outside
to
of
the children, but I wouldn't want the court order. Now, I wouldn't want no court to try to order my woman to pay me for our babies. No, I ain't built like that. I ain't built like that. Now, if she would want to do something herself because those are our children,
Right,
you know,
right.
then
That's
okay,
different.
we can work something out like that. But no. See, I'm not one who want to run to this man for anything at all.
There you
No.
But you don't mind her running.
We mind her running. She ain't got no business going to
I
this
mean, I'm
man.
saying, but you, if she did it, you wouldn't mind that.
I would have a problem with
I would
that.
have
But you have a problem
I
with
would
that.
have a
I
problem.
have a huge problem with it.
Yeah. Unless that man.
You got a deadbeat. That's the only way I would.
Yeah.
Make that man pay. Yeah. But if
because
he,
if that's your daughter and he better take it. He don't want to see me. Cause see, I'm old at this point. What they gonna do to me? You know what I'm saying?
Very interesting.
So I just got a
What's your
different
view on
mentality about that.
Well, when I went to court, I can never forget, I told the judge, I don't want anything. I'm happy to have my children.
Right.
That's the greatest blessing a man can have.
Yeah.
But the judge said it don't work like that. Said she make X number of dollars. And they looked at my income and looked at her income. And said she can afford to pay you child support. I said, well, sir, I don't want anything. So he said, well, I'm sorry, it don't work like
Because they
that.
got to get their bread.
Exactly. They get their money about it.
However they break it down. But as time went on down the road, I wound up, that was the best thing they did because that money came in handy for me to take care of those
Sure
children.
did, especially in this land. Things is hard.
Everything is so
Yeah.
corrupt, man, and watered down. It ain't what it's supposed to be. Let's just hope that we as people don't have to go through that. We need to be able, like I say, we need to be able to communicate, and we need to learn how to listen to one another. And I can't say it enough. That's two totally different things. A lot of times when people get into situations, when one person finished talking, the other one just ready to jump in and say what they want to say instead of responding. And it becomes an argument. We got to learn how to not argue, but to just communicate. And if we could communicate, but in order to do that, we got to listen too.
Right.
Then we can work things out. But see, when you have and I gotta say this, because men don't like to argue. Men will say, "Hey, baby, you're right," just to get it to die down. Yeah, you're right. If we could just get it to where men and women could communicate better, we could remedy all of our situations ourselves. You know, you get some people, who will be so daggone loud the neighbors can hear you, and it don't make no sense. It really don't. And that comes from, again, all those abnormalities that we came up with because that's what we saw. So that's what we do. Instead of what we learn better, we do better. I wish that was the case, that when we learn better, we do better. But most people are not going to be like that, man. It's unfortunate.
It is. It is. But we almost coming to the end. It's almost 4:00. We got about 7 minutes left. So anything else we need to cover?
About real quick, or anybody else is out there, and I do you know who that is personally?
Yeah.
Oh man, we got to get her on here. We got
Oh,
to get her on
yeah.
here.
Yeah. She's actually a femininity coach. So she
Okay.
coaches women.
Oh, is that who you were telling me about
Yeah,
before?
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
praise God. All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We need our men and our men and our women to learn how to communicate properly. We have to learn emotional maturity
Yeah.
because a lot of us have emotional immaturity. You see what I'm saying? And we should have learned certain things as we were growing older, but unfortunately it didn't turn out that way. And when a person can't have those conversations that need to be had, that's a sign of emotional immaturity. Do you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times if we talk to find a remedy, then we good. But if we're just talking and then that talking lends to an argument because one or the other don't want to be held accountable, that's what the problem is. The problem lies with that one who don't want to be accountable.
Yes, sir.
Period. But see, if we call ourselves being service to the Most High under His umbrella, then we got to ask ourselves, how do I look in the face of my Father? How do I look in the sight of the Most High? Am I tempting the Most High? Yeah. Am I asking him to deal with me? Because that's what naturally what we're doing if we're not dealing right with one another, especially if you're under the covenant of marriage. And the Almighty already said he's that third cord in that marriage. Anything else, if we making babies and not married, we out of order regardless of who we are, male or female.
It's a very good point.
Because we don't consummate a marriage until after the marriage, period.
Moriel Shashkar said, "Is it cheaper to keep her?"
Yes. In today's time, but it's not worth the headache.
It's not cheap. It's not, in my opinion, it's not cheaper to keep her. Like I said, if it don't work, then it's good night, Irene. I'm not going to fool around with it. It don't work. I'm going to give her love, respect. One of the greatest blessings I had is the opportunity to raise my children as a father. I had great sisters with me and productive sisters. I was a productive brother. We had great things and we made great things happen. I would have never thought about child support, nothing like that, because the first thing, as you said and I said, was no, thank you. I'm good. But this system here don't work that way. So I'm telling brothers and sisters, it's better to have a wife that it works out, but sometimes it don't always work out. And when it don't work out, you want to do what's best, not for yourself, but what's best for the children.
Queen, she said, "Why are men saying they don't care about a woman's education and degrees?"
Well, let me answer that for you, Queen. So what we're talking about right now is pretty much, and I look at high value men as something completely different. I'm talking about high value man to me as somebody who brings value to that relationship and can handle his business. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a six-figure man. Now, when a man talking about he don't care about a woman's degrees and things like that in her education, I have to put it to you this way to try to break it down for you. At the bottom, a man, he can have he can be a millionaire, right? But he'll marry a woman who works at Taco Bell's. She could be a maitre d' someplace. She can be a lot of different things. He's not worried about what she has because he's going to provide. A good man, I'm talking about a good man. He's going to provide his resources you're going to have access to. However, not like so with a woman. If a woman is a six-figure woman or she has a high stature, she is not getting ready to try to go marry a man working at Burger King, at McDonald's, or anything like that. That's going to be rarer than rare that happens. So here's the thing. A man don't want someone who feels like she's making enough money that she's not going to be submissive unto him. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's not caring about her degrees and all this type of stuff. See, women, let me slow down a little bit so I can explain this. Women have been taught by some people that when they finish school, they should go on to college and get their education, try to get their career started and whatnot. And here's what really happens. A woman's value is most likely in her beauty. So from the time I say she's 18 to 26, 27, that's her good years where she should actually be desiring to have a husband, but she's told she should go out and experience life and do all those other things first, get it out of her system and all these things. But what in fact she should be doing while she still has her beauty is she should be hoping that she's chosen to be a wife. That way she has time to have some babies. She might want 1, 2, 3, 4 different babies or whatnot. You see what I'm saying? And that man, see, it takes a man a lot longer in order to get himself together. So after he finished high school, because a man is supposed to be a provider and protector, now he's got to get busy trying to earn his bag. He's got to start figuring out ways to make his money so that he can take care of his household. Because I said a man should already have a house, right? He should have a car. He should have those necessities and then bring that woman in. So, but again, a man, he can't be going out to the club and doing all these things, wasting his time. He's got to be getting his resources together because a woman wants to marry someone that's in a better position than herself. That man has to be able to provide. Now, I'm talking about a traditional man. I'm not talking about a man who wants to go 50-50 with a woman. If you're going 50-50, y'all talking about a partnership. So then who's going to be the head of the house? So if the Almighty deems the man to be the head, and if he's supposed to be that husband, he's supposed to take care of certain responsibilities. So that man has to be established. So I can see why a man might be 44, 45, and this woman might be 28 or 29 or something like that. See, a lot of times, and not to go back to the times of old, but men were a lot older than the young women or the young girls that they actually married. But let's fast forward. It takes a man a lot longer to get his stride to where he's making some money to where he can take care of his household good. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas, like I say, a woman, if she goes to school and she tries to get her career established, this, that, and the other, she's going to get set in her ways. She's going to be making her own money. So at that point, she's not necessarily always going to be wanting to listen to that man and be under that man. She's not necessarily going to want that man to instruct her, because she's going to be her own woman. And it's true that a man needs to, if a man is going to marry a woman, he needs to mold this woman in the way that he needs her to be for him, because she's supposed to be his helpmate. So he has to, and I know you've heard women say they got their man trained before, right, Queen? Well, here's the deal. I'm going to use that same word only for the sake of saying this here. That husband should train his wife in the way that she should be able to be his helpmate. In other words, he have to give her instruction. She should be willing to receive instruction on how she can best serve her household and her husband, right? Because again, in the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and I know I bring this up a lot, the 16th verse, he was talking to the woman about what her punishment was, speaking of the Most High. And in that very next verse, the 17th verse, he was speaking to the husband. And that husband is supposed to work to the sweat of his brow to take care of his responsibilities. But that woman's desire should be to her husband. In other words, that's her sexual desire. And how can I please my husband? So you can't, a helpmate can't just do whatever it is that she thinks she want to do and be a helpmate. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. She has to listen to her husband, and he can direct her on what he needs her to do. I hope that's making sense to you.
We got one more, and then we got to shut it down. How long should you be vetting a potential spouse?
For as long as it takes. Until you say, well, you know what, I'm no longer interested in this person because it don't seem like this would be a good match. But you definitely don't want to rush it.
I say, in my opinion, it takes 6 months. It don't take 1,000 days to figure out what type of woman you have. I would say within 6 months, if you ain't got a ring on your hand, something wrong.
All right, praise y'all. I think that's it. Good show. Good show. Good show today. Great
Hallelujah.
show. If y'all like the show, give this video a like. And comment what y'all would like us to talk about maybe next week. Perhaps we can get the Queen on next week to chime in as well, because we need to have a woman's perspective as well, just to add some balance to it. But if you got any subjects that y'all need addressed, or you need some personal counsel,
Keep it about relationships,
yeah,
though.
keep it about relationships. For sure. All right, hallelujah. Anything else y'all want to say?
Yeah, I just want to thank the Moray for allowing me to sit in with him. It was very good. I enjoyed it. And my brother,
Likewise.
and I thank you so much.
Hallelujah. We got Let Us Reason. Let Us Reason coming up next, so stay tuned. And then afterwards, we have Truth for Tradition coming up as well. So stay tuned to the podcast, and we appreciate you all for tapping in with us today. Shalom.